All right, the clip that you just saw was a Korean TikTok compilation. And interestingly enough, this is what they call fat shaming in Korea. These are all the overweight celebrities, according to them, in Korea, which is a far cry from fat shaming in the black community. In fact, is there such a thing as fat shaming in the black community? I don't think there is. Not from my observation. As Charles says, black men are the trash men of the dating world. We pick up anything. And I've demonstrated that with a couple of videos already. But somebody sent this to me. I think it was Young Grizzly, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been Adrian. I can't remember who sent it to me. But it's fascinating that this passes for fat shaming. It would never pass in America. In fact, most of these women, that they're calling fat, if you put them in America, especially put them in black culture, they'd be trying to feed them and fatten them up. These women wouldn't even pass as thick or curvy. They'd be normal. In fact, some of them would be called underweight in certain circles. And Platinum Elite, you know what I'm talking about. It's fascinating to actually see other cultures and what they think is an acceptable weight. And for the most part, I think outside of maybe Eastern Europe, I don't think Eastern Europe is even as bad as the black community. Black women, with the encouragement of white women in body shaming, have gone to epic proportions, right? Even women that we think are thick, say like Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion weighs about 160 pounds, give or take. And she's 5'9", 5'10". And you hear women on Kevin Samuel's show that think that a normal weight is being 5'4" and 230 pounds. Imagine if they had to go to Korea. If we transport all those women that think that they're just thick and their normal weight and put them in Korea and see them not get picked, it would be funny. But it's not just black women's fault, it's also black men's fault. Because we don't have any standards as far as looks or weight. We don't. And I know there are some guys that said I personally have a higher standard. I personally don't like fat women or women over a certain size or women whose weight is not proportional. And yes, there are a lot of men that have standards as far as weight and size. But there are far too many men that don't. They don't have a standards, weight, size, looks. A Stefco, who's a 4, a decent 4, but a 4 nonetheless, people thought that she was fat, and Stefco is actually normal. Stefco would actually pass, if you look at her body, would actually be right in this range of what the Koreans call fat, and to us is normal weight or underweight. But it's bizarre that there's this many beauty standards. I mean, not bizarre, I mean, it's normal. But for the most part, most of the world believes that these women are chunky. You gotta remember, the Asian world is like 2.5 billion people. The Indian are like another billion people, right? The continent of Africa, for the most part, don't have the same beauty standards that we do. If a woman's fat, she's fat. Now, sometimes they like fat women, and there are Africans that do. In fact, back in the day, the men from the continent of Africa were the original chubby chasers. They really were. West Africa, notorious chubby chasers. But outside of that, this is the standard of beauty. This is the standard of weight around most of the world. So I thought it was interesting to actually show this TikTok video and talk about black men's standards and what we think is thick, what we think is fat. Because most of these women wouldn't even qualify for a black IG model. They'd be too small. These women are probably about the size of Brittany Renner. Anyhow, that's all I got for this one. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.